I appreciate everyone's patience. I'd like to call this morning's meeting of the Orange County Transportation Council Planning Committee meeting to order. Raina, if you will please start us off with the roll call. And actually, I'll start us off with members present to please introduce yourself, and then I'll ask Raina to do a roll call of those persons who are on remote. So for members present, Alan Sorensen, the MPO Director for the Orange County Transportation Council.
Jacob DeWiel, City of Middletown.
Charlie Carnes, Town of Crawford.
Denise Quinn, Town of Wayweonda.
Sandra Jobson with New York State Department of Transportation.
Orange County Transportation Council. OCTC, Brandon DeWiel.
Rob Harrington, Orange County Department of Planning.
Barry, you want
Barry Cheney, Orange County Legislature.
Stephanie McClure, Law Department.
Okay, Raina, if you'll go through the persons who have joined us remotely, please.
Absolutely. Online, we have Bert. How you doing, Bert? Thank you for bringing it on there. Jesse Dwyer, welcome, new supervisor for the village town of Warwick. We also have CARR. Is that Rachel? Rachel Carr? Yes. Hi, Rachel. See you there. How you doing? We have Scott Manley, Town of Newburgh. Travis Ewald. We have Bill. Bill, forgive me, affiliation, if you could just write in the chat. So we could have on record. Thank you so much. Then I have Deanna Crawford. Hi, Deanna. How are you from Parks? Jane Samuelson. Jane, if you could just write your affiliation or just say it now, so we could just have it on record as well, the agency affiliation. Jane, can you hear us?
She's muted. You can just go through.
And then we have Jeremy Valentine, who see here is part of a consultant on behalf of MHE Consulting. We have Martin Hull on behalf of WSP Consulting Group. We have Michael Amabile, who's a part of the Green Manning Consulting Group. Michael Weeks, hello Mike. We have Moesh Gruber with the Village of Curious Jewel. Ryan McGuire, Commissioner OCDPW, and David Lake. Welcome all.
Thank you. I'd like to now just open it up for call for citizen participation. Do we have any members from the public who would wish to speak?
I would like to.
Bert? Yeah, please go ahead.
So Bert Thielander, I'm a Vision Hudson Valley member of the Pathways Committee. And I want to thank the Transportation Council for signing off on the bikeway vision at a recent meeting. And I had a couple of comments about the UPWP 2425 document. We have been very grateful that the bikeway vision is moving forward. And I noticed that the planning priorities mention the bikeway vision, and that there are mentions of how the bikeway vision may enhance the environment, promote energy conservation, and address the climate crisis. So I also looked at the non-motorized planning component on page 19. And again, I'm grateful that the bikeway vision is mentioned in terms of implementation. And it also spoke about procurement, like very generically, procurement efforts in 2024, 2025. The Pathways Committee has reached out to Tom Fagione, has reached out to State Senator Skoufis, Assemblyman Brabennick, and Representative Ryan. And we're going to seek supplemental funding to what Alan and the Planning Department documented in the bikeway vision. So we wanted to let you know that we think getting the funding is very important. We're going to do what we can to support what Alan and his staff and a lot of the folks in the Orange County government have already done. And then the last thing, there was a mention in there about consultant services that may be engaged to move this forward. So, and there was some mention about short range planning. we Pathways Committee would like to be part of that short-range planning to the extent possible. So again, my belief is the UPWP is well-written. A lot of work went into it. We thank you. And any questions for me?
Or no questions, but we appreciate your comments and thank you. Thank you for the support. Are there any
welcome.
other members from the public who would wish to speak? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to move on to the approval of our meeting minutes from the October 24th, 2023 meeting. While these were presented at the last OCTC Policy Board meeting for reference and approval, we should also recommend approval by the Planning Committee itself, as it's the committee of jurisdiction for this record. So I would ask for a motion and a second on the approval of the meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion on minutes? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the question. All those members present in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the meeting minutes from October 24th, 2023 are approved. I'm going to go on to communications and announcements. As you know, Town of Warwick was chosen to represent the southern area of the council for the January 1st, 2023 through to December 31st, 2024 term. Mike Sweeten has retired as the town supervisor. In accordance with our operating procedures, the designations from the council members shall be nullified upon their departure from elected office and official position upon which their membership is based. The Town of Warwick has a new supervisor, Jesse Dwyer, and it's the recommendation to have Supervisor Dwyer fill out Warwick's term on the council. Again, the current term will expire December 31st of 2024. So in November, we'll be reaching out to the members to once again ask for the towns and villages to select their voting representatives. Okay, moving along on reports and actions. I just want to take a few minutes for Orange County Transportation Council staff reports. As you know, our staff has been focused on the annual preparation of our Unified Planning Work Program and finishing up our Unified Planning Work Program reimbursement submission for quarter 3. The draft UPWP will be posted up on our webpage today, and we will be initiating a 14-day comment period as required, and we'll send out notice when we initiate that. We have to make sure that the starting date will depend on when we can get it in the paper, the official paper, but it's going to be very soon, and then we'll send out notice when that 14-day public comment period commences. And then today, the UPWP will formally be also forwarded to New York State DOT for review and concurrence on the funding tables. In terms of acknowledgement, before I go further, I want to thank Raina and Stacy Butler for the work in preparing the UPWP. I do want to call out Stacy's outstanding effort to pull this all together on behalf of the Orange County Transportation Council team. In all sincerity, we could not have completed it without her. She couldn't be here today. She's attending to a family health matter, and but she provided me with the summary, which I will review with the committee. But I just want to acknowledge her contribution to this effort. In terms of BridgeNY, I'm just gonna, OCTC received a total of 11 applicants for the BridgeNY program and our off-system bridge funding. We had 6 applications for culverts, 5 applications for bridges, and I wanted to afford I wanted to ask if DOT, Sandra, do you have any updates in terms of the timing? I know I'm on the review committee,
Yeah,
as is
those
Ryan
meetings
McGuire.
have been scheduled.
Right.
Yeah, and you should have, probably by the close of business day today, you'll have the materials to start.
That's okay.
Yeah, so, you'll have the materials. I believe we've given folks a week to complete their reviews, and then the teams are gonna get together the following week. To do their scoring and come up
Okay.
with a prioritized list.
Oh, very good. Okay. Yeah. So myself and Ryan McGuire are on the review team.
Good.
So Ryan and I were just comparing notes this morning. It's like, did you hear anything? So this
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
good
yeah.
update.
Yep.
So today's okay.
Yeah, and then I think the goal is, by, what are we now, by March, I'm expecting by March 1st that all the teams in the Hudson Valley will have completed their work.
Okay.
And, we'll have something to look at and then go from there. So I think we're in really good shape.
Yeah, I didn't have it on the agenda, but we're also in the thick of the TAP application review too. So
Oh, yes,
I'm also on
yes.
there.
Okay,
Review team.
okay.
So, but it seems to be, quite a few applications throughout the region. So,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
All right, I want to pass it around to other members. Does anyone have any member reports they would like to update the planning committee on? So I'll pass it around.
I can start. The traffic operations for Middletown, it has not stopped. The construction, concrete and digging and all that stuff stopped because of the season, but the electric is moving fast by installing the poles, the mast, the pedestrian traffic lights, the traffic lights themselves. They're being activated throughout the intersections as we go along, once intersection after the other. So it's moving along. We're very happy with it. It looks very, very nice.
That's good. Any other members? Anyone joining us remotely would like to provide any updates? You don't have
Alan, I can give a quick update for Heritage Trail Segment 3.
Okay.
We had a meeting yesterday, the City of Middletown, the county, and our consultant on the draft design report and plans for Segment 3. That is just about ready to be submitted up to DOT. So within the next week, we'll definitely have that submitted. So we're optimistic that will be a late 2024 construction project. This morning we just got an updated cost estimate, which was the first one we've gotten in quite some time. I think that we're probably going to be underfunded on the construction element of the project by around $700,000. So it's something that we're going to be looking at.
Okay. It's a little discouraging, but understood.
Yep.
I guess I should provide a little update on the Scunamunk Trail. Want to acknowledge the tremendous effort County Law Department in helping us get through the property acquisition phase, as well as our RFQ to retain a design consultant. So that work is really moving forward. Travis and I, Joe Mahoney from the County Attorney's Office, were out in the field. This week's been a big blur. I think it was Tuesday, but I know I covered about 7.9 miles that day, but we went out to do our visual inspections. And so our time frame right now is get a design consultant on board in the coming months with the goal of hopefully getting out the bid early spring of 2025. So, and we'll take it from there. Any other member reports, updates?
Would I be able to just make a quick introduction of myself?
Yes.
My first meeting. newly elected Warwick Supervisor Jesse Dwyer, elected back in November, took office January, replaced retiring Supervisor Mike Sweeten, very good friend of mine, sure respected colleague among all of you. I'm not new to government. I was the mayor of Greenwood Lake for 10 years, served on the village board of trustees before that. So certainly familiar with kind of the inner workings of the Transportation Council and what happens here. We have two projects that we're working on right now that were kind of handed to me from Mr. Sweeten, and one is the Jane Street Bridge application we submitted to the BridgeNY program. That was submitted, I believe, last week. So I'm sure that'll be among your pile to review. I hope you give us some whatever support you can. I know you've got other municipalities that are looking for the same support. And then the other one is the bike hike trail that we're working through the DOT. That was a federal grant, but the DOT is essentially coordinating the grant on their behalf. And other than that, just wanted to say hello. I look forward to working with you guys, and thank you for everything you've done. And we'll see you in person, hopefully at the next meeting.
Very good. Jesse, pleasure to meet you, and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Just as a reminder, the bike hike trail, we provided some funding for that through the carbon reduction program. All right, I think we'll move on to new business. So the UPWP.
Hold it up in just one moment.
I just wanted to touch upon a few things, some highlights. So we're proposing two new projects under the long range transportation project level task. One is a village town of Montgomery truck bypass study. The scope of the work and consultant procurement. We're going to have a technical advisory committee that will be establishing public participation plan, kickoff meetings. Anticipate approximate study completion within 12 to 18 months. I will caution, however, though, that we have several other long-range transportation projects ahead of this one. So we have the Route 17, Route 6 transportation corridor study that we absolutely need to get out first. And then we also have a safety action plan that we want to initiate. So, you know, it's in the UPWP, but with staffing and everything, it may be a little while before we can get that underway. The other thing that we were introducing into our program is an intersection management program. Over the last couple of years, we've received a number of requests from our members with, you know, is there a certain intersection in a community that needs to be studied, needs a little evaluation. So our thinking is to approach this with, to have us an intersection management program where we have an on-call consultant, services as needed, and we'll coordinate the Transportation Council, State DOT, local municipalities, county DPW. And I anticipate that once we have the on-call consultant on board, we'll do, the Transportation Council will do a call for projects. And then we can handle it that way. I think it's going to be much more efficient for those smaller scale projects. And so that is the other project that we're adding to the Unified Planning Work Program. Any questions on those aspects? Okay. Just some any other general questions on the Unified Planning Work Program, the draft? Okay, I wanted to just provide a little bit of additional information. Internally, we feel there are ways that we can refine this process just to make it a little more efficient internally. So we're working on that. Moving forward, in this UPWP, we have fully budgeted the carryover and annual allocation for both the FHWA and FDA funding. I anticipate that after we adopt the Unified Planning Work Program, we'll be coming back to the council sometime in the summer for amendments if we need to adjust any of the lines that are in there. We would recommend that any reserve amount will be subject to a call for projects. We haven't done a call for projects in a long time, so that's something we want to begin to reincorporate into the process. So if there are any reserve amounts, we'll subject that to a call for projects that will be reviewed and allocated by the policy board. This call for projects will be issued after we established a reserve amount and any particulars on types of projects we would like to focus on. This would also align with our long-range transportation plan goals, as well as to amend the long-range transportation plan to note any new UPWP projects as well. As noted previously, we will need to amend the LRTP in the late summer anyway to add newly required greenhouse gas emission reduction targets once established, and the two new projects, the Montgomery truck bypass and the intersection management, to the list of studies in the LRTP. And just another overall comment, Transportation Council and Transit Orange staff have had some changes, and we are reviewing past processes with the LRTP, UPWP Transportation Improvement Program, and an interrelationship between all three and the county budget process. So we want to make this process of creating these work products as well as how reimbursements are done much more efficient. We also want to get back to issuing calls for projects prior to presentation of each work product, as well take a hard look at the various funding source options for all the plans and projects to see if those can be more fully optimized. So got a little work ahead of us, but we're making refinements and just trying to do things better. Any questions?
Could I make a comment on that, Alan?
Technically, we're not in public comment, but
Okay, yep, thank you, understood. Yep.
Okay, I just want to, but you can reach out and if you want to put a little note in the chat, please.
Will do, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's okay. So I covered the UPWP. Also just wanted to open up a discussion on potential subcommittees for transit. We're planning to prepare and issue an RFP for a countywide transit feasibility study in 2024. So, you know, that's been in our UPWP. So that's another one of those legacy projects that we really want to get off the ground. And when we get that underway, we'd like to suggest that the board reform and activate the transit subcommittee. This subcommittee would also recommend others serve on a technical advisory committee for the feasibility study once that gets underway. We would like to open a discussion here, engage interest in members serving on a committee or any other thoughts the group may have on this suggestion.
I just say we did have a transit subcommittee within the past 5 or so, 6, 7 years. And it started out the first, you know, I'm a very honest person. The first meeting we had very good attendance, and then it just kind of we had more like county employees and consultants in the room than attendees or committee members, if you will. So I like the idea, but if we do it, you know, it'd be good to have participation, active participation. Is all I would ask.
Okay. I think if they have a particular project,
Yeah,
you know,
I
like
was just
that,
gonna
would make
say
it
too, I've always, like, when we're doing studies and stuff, any, you know, an effort where we have a committee, I've always found that when you have standing meetings, those tend to not have a lot, and then people lose interest. But if you have meetings more based on actual need, right? You have things that you need to talk about, things that seems to keep committees more engaged. So I don't know how you guys are operating at the time.
Could I inquire with the LRTP, how our advisory group, our statutory advisory group
We're gonna,
felt about, you know, we address that update? Or,
when we used, I mean, we did form an advisory group for that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was effective in that way. I
For
also
serving.
believe, Rob, you can correct me, but were you remote, were you meeting remotely?
No, it was in pros pre-COVID.
Okay, so maybe we made more options this time around to just make it easier for everyone to participate. So that's something that we can consider. Any other members online? I'm trying to be cognizant, not, sorry if I have my back to you, to the camera here occasionally, but. Also just wanted to touch upon our coordinated plan. That's our non-emergency human services transportation plan. The policy board adopted and revised the coordinated plan last year. And a key recommendation is that, again, to form a committee to implement this plan. OCTC staff suggests this may be most efficient as a subcommittee of the Transportation Council. Again, with inclusion of subcommittee members. Outside of the Transportation Council membership, such as staff from DSS, Department of Mental Health, and various human services agencies. I'd like to open up discussion to gauge interest in serving on the committee and any of the thoughts the group may have on this suggestion. Again, we just want to initiate the conversation today, and I'm sure this is something that we'll continue to discuss in the coming months. All right. Local project sponsor updates. I know we kind of did that a little earlier, but last call, if anyone has any updates they'd like to offer. I'm going to ask that everyone just save the date, although there may be a little, I'm going to take advantage of the leap year, hopefully, and Thursday, February 29th at 10 a.m. If you can just hold that on your calendar, please. Raina, Stacy, and I will be in touch shortly, probably early next week. We got to get the 14-day public comment period underway for the UPWP, and but tentatively that Thursday, the 29th looks pretty good for us. Any other discussion, questions, concerns? I just want to thank everyone for holding on. Apologize for a little technical difficulties, but Raina got us back online. So thank you for
Team
that.
effort, absolutely.
It's always a team effort.
Absolutely.
Okay, hearing no other questions or comments, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Jake?
I'm not a board member, I can't.
Second.
I'm like-
That's right, Denise.
Okay, meeting is adjourned. I want to thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.